What's up guys, Zombie Bonbons here, and COD 10 Call of Duty Ghosts is out right now, and you probably know this already if you're watching this video, so without wasting any time, let's talk about COD Ghosts on the current gen consoles and on PC. So, the PC version of this game is problematic, to say the least. It's got outdated textures and lighting, and a 60GB download puts it at the end of the line of games you should consider for your PC. Battlefield 4 is definitely a better choice. However, with that said, this review is mainly concerned with the 360 version of the game, as my mid-range PC with the 660 Ti and an i7 3770 ran the game awfully. So the most important part of Call of Duty Ghosts is weapons, kill streaks, and how they're built and behave. And also, maps are not at the end of the line of things to consider either. So the first part of this that Call of Duty Ghosts has really nailed down are the guns. They are incredibly awesome. They are very, very fun to shoot. They do a lot of damages. I'm using an AK in this match, and you can tell it's an absolute laser beam. It kills people very quickly, and most guns kill in 3 or 4 shots up close or at medium distance. And there's Infinity Ward did a great job with diversifying the weapons. I mean, there are LMGs, marksman rifles, sniper rifles, assault rifles, submachine guns, a combat knife, riot shield, and then shotguns. So there's at least 8 different classes of weapons you can choose from, and obviously you can run with secondaries and secondaries only as well. And they're all fairly balanced as far as I can tell from playing about 20 hours of the game so far. So this review is only concerned with the multiplayer part. If you're looking for a single player review, don't check here. But anyway, back to the weapons. Every one of them is very, very diverse. They are the submachine guns. Just to mention a few of them, there's the M-Tower, which behaves like an assault rifle in a lot of ways. There's another submachine gun, the CBJ, which uses tungsten rounds and has the highest rate of fire and penetration. And the same with the assault rifles. There's an assault rifle with an integrated silencer called the Honey Badger. There's an assault rifle called the ARX, which has the highest rate of fire and has a built-in laser sight. And the most important part of this is that every weapon has a very, very definitive strength and weakness. Every single one of them, starting with the very first weapon you unlock, up until the MSBS. All of them are designed for specific ranges where they excel at. The Just to name a few, the ST 2010 being a high rate of fire, higher accuracy weapon, the AK being a higher recoil, mid accuracy but very high damage weapon with long range, the ARX being the highest rate of fire weapon with great hip fire as well, and that's just to name a few. But let's not get bogged down with the details of the thing. Though the main thing is secondaries feel very weak. They're not nearly as good as they used to be in Modern Warfare 2 or in even I'd say even Black Ops 1 secondaries were more usable than the ones in COD Ghosts, but that's the way they designed it. They wanted it to be that way because they decided that it's best to have secondaries be a little weaker than primaries, although they do cost a point just like primaries do. So the new create a class system, which is way far better than the create a class we've seen before, it involves you picking your weapon, and then the way you can get extra perks is that you remove a weapon or a piece of equipment from your loadout, which generally adds you an extra perk slot. Which perk slots are different from perk slots don't always cost, so you can't always get one perk per perk slot. There's a value assigned to each perk, 6 being the highest for Deadeye, which gives you a chance to deal extra damage, and 1 being the lowest for things such as no fall damage or no skulls above dead enemies. So with that said, let's move on to another aspect of the COD equation that will probably not please a lot of fans, and that is map design. Map design has been sort of an up and down thing with Call of Duty, with each release having very, very different maps, with Black Ops 2 having fairly straightforward cross-stage design maps where you could predict where the action is going to happen. You can sort of gain an understanding of the flow of the maps, and that is absolutely not the case here. These maps are convoluted, they are very big for 6v6, which that's another thing that's holding this game back, is that for some reason they can't do 9v9 on this current gen console, which is strange because Modern Warfare 2 had Ground War, which was 9v9. So maybe it was just for lack of space on the CD, since also Search and Destroy is missing, which is, I'll talk about that in another video. But overall, it seems like the maps have not gotten the same TLC that all the maps before, except in Modern Warfare 3 have, which they're they don't flow very well, and they just have a terrible design to them overall. But one thing is that obviously in the first week it takes a while to learn the maps. It's still, these maps will still cause a lot of cheap deaths from behind and the side, but that will be negated over time as people start learning the maps better. But they're still not gonna hold up as well as, say, Black Ops 2 maps. Now, another aspect of this game that's very important is the netcode, which has thankfully been improved from Black Ops 2's netcode at its release, but it's not quite as good as, say, in Modern Warfare 2's or Black Ops 1's. It is, people die very quickly, so it's easy to misjudge, but overall that compensation is still an improvement from Modern Warfare 3, which Infinity Ward has a way of holding themselves to their previous games and sort of ignoring Treyarch's releases. And another big improvement in that front is the TeamSpeak, and I mean TeamSpeak, the chat sounds a whole lot better than it ever did. In Modern Warfare 3 and in Modern Warfare 2, the chat was atrociously bad. The quality was just unbearably horrible. And it's fairly easy now to mute people also if you don't want to listen to 12-year-old kids on Xbox yelling at you. So overall, the maps have been improved from Modern Warfare 3, but they're not quite as good as Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. And finally, and probably the most important part of this game, is kill streaks. And they have been revamped, but they're also fairly similar to Modern Warfare 3's system, whereas there is still Specialist, there is still Support, and there is still Assault. And Assault remains the most useful out of the three, with Specialist now taking 3 kills instead of 2 to unlock your first perk, and costing a lot more. And you cannot, in this game, you cannot get all the perks from Specialist. You have to assign which 8 you get after you get the Specialist bonus at 8 kills, which sort of puts it behind how powerful it was in Modern Warfare 3, but it's still a very viable strike package to choose. However, Assault is still the most prevalent. That's what most players use, but there has been some nice new additions to the support package, such as the new ability to drop ammo and a random weapon, and the much dreaded Helo Scout, which will be sure to piss a lot of people off, just like the Stealth Bomber did. However, it does not seem as aggravating since you can actually shoot out the pilot. So overall, this game is a lot more enjoyable than Modern Warfare 3. If you didn't like that game, you can still give this one a shot. It's the maps are fairly similar to Modern Warfare 3's, with a few slight improvements, such as adding a longer range sightlines, so it's not an SMG dominated game anymore. But still, it's not quite to the level of Modern Warfare 2 maps or Black Ops 2 maps, which is, it's disappointing to say the least. I mean, Modern Warfare, the map designers from Infinity Ward have left, and they joined up with the team that is making Titanfall. So if you're looking forward to Modern Warfare 2-like or COD 4-like maps, look for that. But overall, to compare this game, it is sort of like a mix between COD 4 and Modern Warfare 3, with the maps also being somewhat of a hybrid between the two, whereas they are not as convoluted as Modern Warfare 3 maps, but they're not as perfectly and meticulously designed as Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty 4 maps. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please do rate it, and I want you to comment on this, please. I want to hear people's opinions about what you think of the game, what you would rate it. I would give this game a 9 out of 10. It's very, very fun. It's a fast-paced game, and if it weren't held to Call of Duty standard, which I'm not holding it to a Call of Duty standard, but to a general game standard, this is a very good game. Alright, peace out.